Today we're getting into something really sensitive, one of those moments that can feel incredibly high stakes, revealing a deeply personal part of yourself to a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, we're talking about heterosexual men who cross-dress, and just the sheer weight of fear
Yeah.
that often comes with sharing that.
It's immense, the risk of rejection, confusion, misunderstanding, maybe even the relationship ending altogether. It's so real.
So real that it pushes many men into silence, right?
Yeah.
Hiding clothes, making excuses, just living with this constant quiet tension underneath everything.
Absolutely. And that's where people feel stuck, like it's all or nothing. But what if disclosure didn't have to be this huge dramatic reveal?
Okay.
What if there were, let's say, subtler ways, more strategic paths to invite understanding, to build connection without putting everything on the table immediately?
Right, this idea you mentioned, coming out without coming out.
Exactly. It's a kind of middle ground, a more thoughtful approach that prioritizes safety but also aims for that deeper connection.
That sounds like a potential lifeline for so many.
Yeah.
So let's really unpack that today. How do you actually do that? How do you navigate this thoughtfully, respecting your own readiness, but also building trust? And while our focus is cross-dressing here, I suspect a lot of these ideas, these principles, they probably apply to sharing any really sensitive part of yourself, don't they?
They really do. Because fundamentally, for cross-dressers in straight relationships, it's often not just about the clothes themselves. It goes deeper.
How so?
It's about vulnerability, identity, intimacy, and, as you said, fear. A lot of fear.
What kind of fears typically come up?
Well, common ones are worrying about being seen as less masculine or having their partner question their sexuality, maybe fear of disgust, ridicule.
Which often ties back to societal stuff, right? These outdated labels.
Precisely. Society often paints cross-dressing as taboo or weak or somehow deviant. Even though actually it's quite common, some studies suggest maybe 2–5% of men engage in it at some point. It's usually entirely benign. It's just self-expression.
But that societal pressure creates real anxiety.
It really does. Even though for many men we've looked at, it's not about gender identity transition. It's more like finding an outlet, creative expression maybe, stress relief, exploring another side of themselves.
And that desire to be seen, the real you, that's got to be incredibly strong.
Oh, absolutely. Almost primal.
But hiding something so core to who you are, that must create distance.
Yeah.
Feeling dishonest, lonely maybe.
Definitely. Like there's a wall, as you said earlier, a wall between you and the person you love.
And it's crucial to say there's no single right way to handle this, is there?
Not at all. For some, full honesty up front works. But for many, that just feels way too risky. Too much potential fallout.
Which is where this more gradual path comes in.
Exactly. It's a gentler route, like feeling your way forward step by step instead of taking a huge leap in the dark.
Okay, so let's dive into that phrase. Coming out without coming out. Sounds a bit like a contradiction. How does that actually work in practice?
It's a great question. It's really about incremental disclosure. Emotionally intelligent disclosure, you could say.
Incremental, so small steps.
Yes. Instead of one big announcement, hey, I cross-dress, you take smaller, calculated steps. Things that gently open the door for conversation later, when the time feels right.
Okay, I see. So it respects both sides. Your need for safety and your partner's need to understand.
Perfectly put. It creates breathing room, space for both of you to adjust, to process, build trust at a pace that doesn't feel like a shock to the system.
And it's not about being deceptive.
That's key. It's not deception. It's not living a lie. It's about honoring the complexity, your identity, the relationship, and trying to minimize potential trauma or shock for everyone involved.
So where do you even begin with this? If someone's thinking about this path, what's step one?
Step one is actually internal. It's self-awareness. You really can't expect your partner to understand something if you haven't grappled with it yourself.
Makes sense. Know thyself first.
Absolutely. You need to ask yourself some key questions like, what role does cross-dressing actually play in my life? Is it about sex, emotions, artistry, escape, something else entirely?
How often? Is it a phase or core to who I am?
Exactly. And maybe the biggest one, am I okay with this part of myself? Have I accepted it?
How do people find that clarity?
Well, things like journaling can help. Therapy is obviously a great resource. Even connecting with online communities safely and anonymously can provide perspective.
And having that clarity helps when you do start sharing.
Immensely. Because your confidence, your self-acceptance, even if it's quiet, it's reassuring to your partner. It often addresses their unspoken fear that maybe this is just a whim or something you're unsure about. Your clarity signals stability.
Okay, so you've done the internal work. You understand yourself better now. You have to look outward, right, at the relationship itself. How do you figure out if your partner, your relationship, is actually ready for this kind of vulnerability? That feels tricky.
It is tricky. It's like testing the waters, gauging the climate. You need to ask, is this relationship fundamentally safe emotionally? Is communication generally open?
What are the signs? How do you know?
Think about past experiences. How has your partner reacted when you've shown vulnerability before? Or when you've discussed topics that are maybe a bit non-traditional?
Like gender issues or sexuality topics?
Exactly. Or even just how they react to things in the media, like gender fluid fashion or characters who defy norms. Are they curious, dismissive, judgmental? Those reactions are clues.
Little breadcrumbs.
Sorta, yeah. And timing matters too. You probably don't want to bring this up during a big fight or when your partner's super stressed or feeling vulnerable themselves.
Right, choose your moment. Find a time when things feel secure, connected.
Yes, you're trying to set the stage for a calm conversation, not trigger defensiveness.
So let's say a direct talk still feels like too much, too overwhelming. What are these soft introductions you mentioned? The ways to dip a toe in?
Okay, yeah, these are practical, lower risk ways to just test the waters, see how the temperature feels.
Give me some examples.
Sure. Maybe you're watching a movie or a show and a character appears who's cross-dressing or gender fluid. You could just casually ask, what do you think about that character? See what they say.
Okay, simple enough.
Or maybe something playful, like joking about trying on an item of their clothing or asking, hey, what if you dress me up for Halloween? Just lighthearted suggestions.
Lewis.
Sometimes it's even simpler, complimenting fabrics, saying you like the feel of silk or satin or lace, just mentioning an appreciation for those textures.
Interesting. Just planting little seeds.
Exactly. Or maybe sharing an article you found online, something about cross-dressing or fashion or gender identity, not necessarily saying this is me, but more like, hey, saw this, thought it was interesting, what do you think? It just opens a door for dialogue.
And the key is watching their reaction to these little probes.
Absolutely. If they react with curiosity or neutrality or even mild interest, that's potentially a green light, or at least, a yellow one. It suggests they might be open to hearing more down the road.
Okay, so you've done some soft introductions. The reaction seems okay. Now, if you decide to say more directly, how you frame it emotionally sounds crucial. You said it's like revealing a piece of your heart.
It really is. And how you start that conversation can make a huge difference. You want to lead with honesty, yes, but also reassurance.
How would that sound?
Well, you might start with something like, hey, there's something I've wanted to share with you for a while.
Setting the stage.
Yeah, it feels pretty personal and honestly a bit vulnerable for me. I haven't talked about it because, well, I wasn't sure how. And I care so much about us, about our relationship, that I worried about, changing how you see me.
That sounds very honest.
Yeah?
Vulnerable.
Right. And then you add, but I want to be more open with you. And I really hope you can hear this with curiosity and care.
Okay. And then you share.
What?
Everything.
Not necessarily. Share what feels right, what feels manageable for you and for them in that moment. Maybe something like, sometimes I enjoy wearing clothes usually considered feminine.
And then explain the why.
Yes. Crucially, explain the feeling. It helps me feel relaxed, or it connects me to my creative side, or it helps me access a part of myself I don't usually express.
Right.
Focusing on your emotional experience, relaxation, creativity, connection, rather than just the act itself, that often helps bypass judgment and invites empathy instead.
That makes sense. Focus on the feeling, not just the fact.
Exactly. And then pause. Just let the words land. Let them breathe. Be ready for questions, but try to stay calm, grounded, even if their first reaction is confusion or maybe even fear.
Which brings us to reactions. Because even with the gentlest approach, the partner might still have a strong reaction, right? They'll need time.
Absolutely. They might be surprised, hurt, maybe, insecure. They might wonder what it means about your sexuality or your masculinity or even their own attractiveness.
That seems tough.
It can be. And it's so important for the person disclosing to remember. Your partner's reaction is their reaction. It's not your fault. They're entitled to their feelings and their process, just like you are to your identity.
What are some common ways partners react?
It really varies. Some react with genuine curiosity. They want to understand, ask questions, maybe even do their own research.
That sounds like a best-case scenario.
It can be. Others might react with confusion, just feeling destabilized, like, what does this mean?
Understandable.
Then there's fear. worrying about what others will think or what it means for the future. And sometimes, unfortunately, anger or a sense of betrayal can come up, especially if they feel like something significant was hidden for a long time.
So patience sounds absolutely key here.
Patience is huge. And
Uh,
reassurance. Emphasizing that this doesn't change your love for them, your commitment to the relationship.
it may be clarifying misconceptions, like needing to explicitly say, this doesn't mean I'm gay, or this doesn't mean I want to transition, unless, of course, those things are true for you.
Yes, making those distinctions can be incredibly important, especially early on, given how much misinformation is out there. It helps them place it, understand it within the context of your identity.
What's a common mistake people make at this stage?
A really common one is wanting too much, too fast, expecting immediate acceptance, or even enthusiasm or participation.
Right. You've had maybe years to process this. They've had minutes.
Precisely. You have to give them time and space. The initial goal isn't necessarily for them to join in, it's for them to know this part of you, to build honesty.
So how do you communicate that without sounding demanding?
You could say something like, look, I don't expect anything specific from you right now. I just wanted you to know this about me. If and when you have questions, I'm happy to talk, but only when you feel ready.
Taking the pressure off.
Exactly. It creates emotional safety. It shows respect for their process. And honestly, we see time and again that this lack of pressure often allows partners to become more comfortable, curious, and sometimes even supportive over time. It's an invitation, not a demand.
So if they do become more comfortable, more curious, how do you move towards potentially involving them? If that feels right for both people, how does it become more collaborative?
Well, again, it's about invitation, not pressure. When they seem ready, you can gently open that door.
Wow. What would you say?
You could ask simple, open questions. What are you comfortable with? Or would it help if we maybe looked at some information or resources about this together?
Offering shared learning.
Right. Or depending on their comfort level, maybe, would you ever want to see some pictures? Or even eventually, would you be open to meeting this side of me sometime?
But always respecting their boundaries.
Always. Their pace is key. They might want to go very slowly, maybe see a photo long before they see you dressed. Or they might decide they don't want to participate actively at all, but they can still accept you.
So each couple finds their own way.
Exactly. It's unique, like building a bridge together, plank by plank. They decide how far across they want to walk with you, and you respect that.
This brings up a really important point, I think. We've talked a lot about disclosure, but
Yeah.
is there ever a situation where not coming out, where choosing silence is actually the right or maybe the safest choice?
Yes, absolutely. It's a valid option.
When might that be the case?
Well, if your partner has consistently shown extreme rigidity or maybe even hostility towards anything outside strict gender norms, disclosure might pose too great a risk. Emotional risk, maybe even physical in some rare tragic
The
situations.
safety first.
Always. Also, in a very short-term relationship, maybe one where deep integration isn't the goal, full disclosure might not feel necessary or appropriate.
So you don't owe everyone 100% visibility all the time.
No, you don't. You are allowed to protect yourself.
Okay.
The ideal of complete openness has to be balanced against real-world context, risk, and your own mental and emotional well-being.
But there's a downside to long-term hiding, isn't there?
There usually is, yes. A significant cost. It can really erode your sense of self, your authenticity. It can damage intimacy, even if the secret is kept. And it can just wear away at your peace of mind.
So if you choose silence,
It's important to be really honest with yourself about why you're making that choice and what the ongoing impact is on you. It's a trade-off, always.
this has been incredibly insightful. Before we wrap up, what's the core message you'd want listeners to take away?
I think it's crucial to remember this. Cross-dressing itself. It isn't shameful. It's not immoral. It's not dangerous. It's not inherently wrong.
It's just part of someone's experience.
Exactly. For many, it's a way of expressing something rich, something human inside them. Maybe creativity, emotional depth, sensuality. Just a unique way of exploring who they are. It's just another color in the vast spectrum of human experience.
And this journey of sharing that, of disclosure,
Mm-hmm.
it's clearly not easy. But it sounds like quite often it can be deeply worthwhile.
It often is.
Yeah.
Because being seen, you
Mhm.
know, really seen for who you are, that's one of the most profound gifts in life, isn't it? And in a relationship that has a foundation of love and honesty and ideally curiosity,
Mhm.
sharing this part of yourself, even gently, can actually deepen the connection in the long run. It can turn that hidden wall into a shared horizon.